All right, here we go. Fight fans, we are so excited to have the champ, Claressa Shields, here with us today. She is the reigning and defending undefeated and undisputed champion in any weight class that she wants. Now, thank you so much for joining us, champ, and welcome to the show. We don't have much time with you, so we're going to kick off this interview with our first question from the conscious of combat sports, Mr. Eddie Goldman. Take it away, Eddie.
Great, thank you. And thanks, Claressa, for taking the time out. I know this is real busy with all these interviews with the fight coming up in a couple of weeks. You're scheduled to face Emma Kozin. Can you tell us what you know about her? We know she's younger than you. She's technically undefeated, but she's much less experienced than you.
I don't know what you mean by less experience. She's 21-0 with 11 knockouts. I'm 11-0 with 2 knockouts. If anything, it looks like she got more experience than me in a professional so far, or she has more fights at least. But what I know about her is that she had an amateur background, amateur pedigree. She's fought her way up from the bottom to be my mandatory. That's why I'm fighting her. And just from watching her fights, she thinks she punches hard. She likes to come forward and be aggressive and knock you backwards, and she likes to fight. So we will see what she brings to the table February 5th.
Have you watched videos of her fights before?
Yeah, I watched all her fights. I just can't find one, her versus Chris Nemesis. And usually when you can't find a fight on the internet, that means that the fighter that won really lost. So that's the fight that I'm looking for.
Anybody got that video footage out there? You better drop it.
And it also, Chris Nemesis was 25-5 too when she fought her, which is probably one of the most experienced fighters she ever faced.
Chris Nemesis is actually a good fighter. I was able to watch her versus Marie-Eve Dicaire, and I thought, and even though Marie-Eve Dicaire is undefeated, and I fought her to become undisputed at 154, I think Chris Nemesis actually beat Marie-Eve Dicaire. So that's why I wanted to see the fight between her and Emma Kozin, because I think it says a split decision. So that's why I was looking for it. I wanted to see it.
So you think you can outpoint this woman, right?
I think I can outpoint Emma Kozin. I can outfight Emma Kozin. And I'm going to be very strategic this fight. She's a southpaw, so they can be a little crafty. But I want to break her down, and send a message to my next opponent.
That's what I'm talking about. Melissa, what questions?
And that next opponent would be Savannah Marshall?
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. She's recovering from injury. So as soon as she recovers and get back in there and get her one fight in, we should be fighting next.
So there is the possibility you might have another fighter in between if Marshall takes longer?
It's possible, yes, because I've never put my career on hold for Savannah Marshall or anybody else. So I'm active, I'm in shape, I'm ready to fight. And if something comes up in between, I'm going to take it, but we looking forward to fighting her, I believe, in May. So nothing will get in the way of me and her fighting in May.
Outside of COVID.
Yeah, mask up.
Right.
Exactly. So what do you see as your advantages against Kozin? What I meant by inexperience was she's never fought for a major title. You've held countless titles, Olympic gold medalist twice and all of that. She hasn't fought and won on that level yet. But what do you see as your advantages over her?
I think my speed coming into every fight is my advantage against any fighter. Also my skill, also my power, just my IQ, like all the different styles that I can fight. You can make a fight harder, and it depends on what kind of style you choose to fight, so I'm going to go out there and start off with my jab and just build from there, but we have a different game plan up in camp for this fight because we want to make a statement. So we've really been making sure mentally, even in sparring, that I'm doing what I'm going to do in the fight.
Can I ask you about what kind of mental fitness do you do in training camps, or is that anything that you focus on, sports psychology, or trying to get into that really narrow focus so that nothing else distracts you? Do you meditate? What kind of mental fitness do you do?
I mean, I think a meditation, prayer, and just naps and time alone. It had this thing on your phone where you can put your phone on do not disturb, right? And when you put it on there, you don't get text messages, you don't get any notifications, you don't get calls, you don't get nothing. And I've been putting it on my phone every day after my first session of training, because I train twice a day, sometimes 3 times. So I'll make sure that I have that time in between to give me some rest, to not be on social media, to just kind of be with myself. And everyone knows that I'm a Christian and I believe in Jesus Christ. So I'm praying, you know, daily, just having my talks and my conversations with God to keep me, you know, because boxing can put you sometimes in a dark place where you just want to whoop everybody ass, right? You know, so for me, it's like I have to still be around people and still keep it, you know, keep it normal. But when I'm in camp, I just zone out, you know, especially at the gym. So I just pray that God help me, you know, with a good balance, I guess.
That's fantastic. Melissa, you have any other questions before we go? You're
sorry. I guess the one question we had is, you know, it's not gone unnoticed that you're fighting in England, and you know, that even when your fights will be played in America, it won't be on Showtime, it won't be on ESPN, it won't be on BBC. And, you know, how do you feel about that?
That's fine with me. You know, I'm going to do what I got to do. And that's all that really matters. I'm fighting on pay-per-view, and we're building my resume to be a pay-per-view star in the women's division. I'm fighting in the UK. You know, I'm a 12-time world champion, 3-time divisional world champion, 2-time undisputed champion, and the only boxer to make the Guinness World Records, you know, in 2022. So
love that.
I'm not gonna let, you know, networks in the USA make me feel like I'm less of a fighter because they're not putting me on their network. That's perfectly fine with me. Actually, we've actually had the chance to fight on, you know, ESPN, Showtime. Premier Boxing Champions don't really put women on yet. I don't know what's the hold up, but you know, I've actually turned down some networks because they're not offering me the money that I know that I deserve. So I am fine with that. I'm fine to be fighting with Sky Sports and Boxer. I'm happy that I have this 7-figure deal. And, you know, after these 2 fights, I will see what I do next. But for right now, I'm a millionaire and I'm moving forward, and I don't need those big networks to be a millionaire, as you can see.
Right on, champ.
And this fight will be in Wales. I know you fought internationally, obviously in the Olympics. Tell us your impression about fighting your debut for boxer in Wales finally in February.
You know, I hope that this shows everybody that I'm the one chasing Savannah Marshall. She's not chasing me. Right? You know, it's like this narrative that they built that I've been running from her, but I'm like, I'm a 12-time world champion. I fought in 3 different weight classes. I fought from 168, 160, and 154. How am I running from you? I'm running toward you. That's why I'm in the UK fighting on your turf, defending my title, and then setting up a fight to fight you next. That's one of the main reasons why I signed with Boxer. If I was running from Savannah Marshall, we would have, you know, still done our deal with Eddie Hearn with, you know, Matchroom and moved forward. But once he said that Savannah Marshall, that he didn't have access to her anymore, we went to people that had access to her, because that's who we want to fight. That's the fight everybody wants to see. But it's been a weird narrative that that the GWOAT has been running from her, and the GWOAT have not been running from Savannah Marshall. I have been sprinting toward her for a long time. So I'm happy that now my sprint can finally slow down and I can kind of jog there now. But,
right.
Now you be flying to her also. Literally.
And you know, it's just crazy that we're actually going to fight in the UK when me and Savannah Marshall fight. And this is something else. A lot of world champions don't leave their home turf to defend their world titles, but I'm going to the enemy territory, not only once, but twice. I'm going to do it February 5th, and then I'm going to do it again in May. So this should, you know, and then after I beat both of them, this will shut everybody up about the whole Savannah Marshall has been chasing me, because nobody chases the GWOAT. Like, I'm there. You just knock on my door, say you want to fight, and I say, yes, let's fight.
Yes. I'll come spar with you. I'll come spar with you, champ.
We all will.
You got to go easy, baby.
Yes, good luck in the fight. Thanks for taking the time
Thank you.
to talk with
So
us,
appreciate it.
and we're
You're
looking forward
awesome.
to this and all your other fights too.
That's
Thank
right.
you,
You are
guys.
truly an
Appreciate that.
inspiration. You are an inspiration to all these young women out here. Just keep doing what you're doing. Go.
And to the
Go.
old ones too, honey.
And the old ones, because we're old.
Just make sure everybody tune in to pay-per-view.com, pay-per-view on your cable satellites,
Okay.
February 5th, and you can watch the fight. And you also stream it on FITE TV. So you do not want to miss the fight February 5th, because leading to the big banger with me and Savannah Marshall.
That's right. Let's go. Thank you so much, champ. We
Thank
are
you.
out.
We are out. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
That was
Boom.
great.
Welcome back to the War Room, folks. We just had the best interview ever with the GOAT of all time, and that is Claressa Shields. Guys, what did you think about that interview? She has just blossomed into this very, like you said, Malissa, poised, thoughtful. She knows her shit, and I was very impressed. Yeah.
She really does. It made me think of her boxing. She has a real patience now when she's boxing. And it made me think of how she was in that interview. She was patient. She was really clear on who she is, what she had to say, why she had to say it. She wasn't going to get baited into anything. She was just clear and on message and really clear on who she is. And it's reflective of who she has become in the ring. And I think she is going to be some force to be reckoned with in 2022.
Absolutely. Eddie, what are your thoughts?
She was very young when she started as a professional, because she's 26 now. Her first professional fight with Franchon Cruz Dezern, which is a very good fighter who also was her professional debut. She was what, like almost 5.5 years ago. So she was, even though she had done the, and that was on HBO, by the way, in the United States, even though she had done the Olympics and everything that had gone on, it's not the same thing when you're featured on a major professional card. And then she did it on Showtime. I remember her being, she was a little nervous, or she wasn't as media savvy as she is, particularly I think in her second fight that was on Showtime that she had in March 2017. That's 5 years ago.
Right.
And she's like, 20, 21 years old. So she obviously, most people between the time of 21 and 26 mature in all sorts of different ways. And I think she's really started. She hasn't even peaked yet. She hasn't peaked yet as a person. She hasn't peaked yet as an athlete, but the whole trajectory is up with her. And I think the interview that we did shows that. And while she was known internationally for the 2 Olympic gold medals, that's the Olympics, that's the amateur level. People say, okay, let's see what you do in the pros. Now she's becoming, on a professional level, a real international star with this fight coming up in Cardiff, Wales, and in the UK, which we'll get into that. It's scheduled for February 5th. There's still a little bit of question, but we'll get into that. But that's what everybody's planning. They put out the announcement. They're expecting it to be on Sky Sports in the UK, and they expect it to be on pay-per-view on Fight and a number of these other outlets in the United States and other countries around the world too. So this is a real step up for her. And she just, when we asked her about that, was just like another day at the office, because she's ready for it all around the world. And she's, in London and Rio, and she's used to this type of thing. But now it will be a little different fighting in the professional level on a card like this, rather than part of a Olympic tournament with all the other weight classes and all the athletes that are going on. And I think she's tremendously ready, poised, prepared for this, very savvy. When we asked her about what she knew about Emma Kozin. She said she watched all of her fights except the one that she couldn't find a video of. And she suspected that the reason she didn't find a video of that
Right.
fight was maybe somebody didn't want her to find a video
Uh-huh.
of that fight when she fought Chris Namus, when Kozin fought Chris Namus in Germany. And it was a unanimous decision for Kozin, but you know how judges are and the way they are in boxing. So I'm looking forward to seeing where she really goes and really develops. This is she's starting to be, as a pro, Claressa Shields 2.0 as a person. And
Mhm.
I think that's very exciting when you have somebody young. In the male professional ranks, how many fighters at age 26 are at the top of their games, have
Right.
achieved so much as she has? And, you know, I'm looking forward to it. And it was really a pleasure talking with her. I mean, been at press conferences and talked with her before, but this is really the best one. And I know also today she was doing a series of media interviews to promote this February 5th event, and we'll see what else is going on. And we stayed on point because I don't know what some of these other people asked her, but we stayed on the major,
Right.
serious, important points that had to be asked.
Exactly. Melissa, so what do you think? I'm really like, I don't want to look past this next fight on February 5th, but I am. You know
Well,
why? Because I really do want to see her and Savannah Marshall throw down in the ring. I cannot wait.
I cannot wait either. I think that will be a great fight. And I think this fight is a terrific opportunity for Claressa to kind of re-engage in the boxing world, to engage in UK, where, you know,
Mhm.
frankly, as we see, is the center of where, you know, women's championship boxing is
Right.
happening, and where women are getting paid, you know, and
Right.
she was real clear. They were gonna, you know, Sky Sports was gonna give her $1 million. Nobody
Right.
else was
That's where
here.
she
So
going. That's
hello.
right.
So she has a lot to prove.
Right.
She's very assured. Boxing is her jam. She's been doing it since she was 11 years old at a high
Mhm.
level ever since. So it's very much her comfort zone, and she is finding ways of making it even more comfortable. And I think that in 2022, she will really explode this sport for women at a level that is just going to be incomparable. There's something about, you know, we'll say in men's boxing, it's the heavyweight. In women's boxing, it's not so much heavyweights, but the middleweight, super middleweight, those weight classes, 147 to 165, really kind of carry that same sort of power.
Mhm.
And Claressa is so fast and so good at what she does, and has really learned the pro game and the patience
Right.
of the pro game.
Right.
She's in a hurry, but she's in a hurry in a really strategic way. And when she moves quickly, it's tactical. She sees her opportunities. So I think she will really put on a show on February 5th that will have everyone in UK and around the world who get Sky Sports salivating for her fight with Marshall. And, you know, we'll hope that American outlets get enough promotional opportunities to be able to show our fans here in America what championship boxing is all about at the
That's
women's level.
that's right. And that's going to be on Fight TV. So
Yeah,
that's
pay-per-view, an
right.
independent
Pay-per-view,
pay-per-view distributor.
FITE. That's FITE,
Yeah.
folks, if you guys want to pick that up, because I know I will be supporting and purchasing the pay-per-view. So you guys, February 5th, she fights Emma Kozin.
Yeah,
Fight
see,
TV pay-per-view, baby.
I understand why she's fighting on that. She wants to encourage that. And she said that some of the American networks offered her fights, but no money or very little money
Right.
for this. And it was just the boxer promotion and Sky Sports offered her a good deal for that. And to me, I would still say maybe she didn't want to say because she's just disgusted with them and doesn't want to deal with it. But this is disgraceful that some American network, some major American network has not picked this up. She's been on ESPN fighting in MMA, which is not her main sport. They could show that, which is fine that they did that. She's been on Showtime, DAZN, HBO. She's been on all these things. Why are they not showing this fight when we're seeing so much crap, so many mismatches going on? And here's something that's building up to her fighting Savannah Marshall. And even Kozin is somebody, based on her record, again, has never fought at this level, but it's not like a gimme fight. It's not like a tomato can that she's fighting
Right.
in this. So, and it's in Wales, and there'll be an adjustment there. The main event for that show is Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Williams, which is a huge grudge match fight in the UK and in Wales. They were supposed to fight in December. Williams got hurt, so they postponed it to the end of January. Then the British Boxing Board of Control canceled all fights in the UK because of the upsurge in the COVID outbreak. So now they have it for February 5th, but it's still to be finalized a little bit. So they put out all the information. They're hoping it to be done, but they got to deal with the Welsh authorities, and they got to finalize it. But it's looking good because the British Boxing Board of Control says they do expect boxing in the UK to resume in February, and this will be the first big card. So hopefully all this stuff gets resolved. And as she said, wear a mask. You're gonna have to have all
That's right.
They put out a whole the BBOC's put out a whole list of COVID protocols for their events, and I'm glad that she encourages people to do the smart thing. But I
Right.
just think it's utterly ridiculous that these American networks don't pay the money and put her on a major event. And yeah, it would entail a deal, an overall deal, most likely with the boxer promotion. But remember, Sky Sports, they resuscitated their boxing program when Eddie Hearn's Matchroom left dealing with them. And they have top ranked shows from the US, but those will be on at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning in the UK. And this, of course, will be on the evening of February 5th. So it'll be in the US, it'll be in the afternoon. So there would have to be some type of deal, but there've been other major fights and other major shows from the UK shown live in the US on Showtime and ESPN's different networks and others. And I think it would make it a lot easier if they would do that. But, then we're getting into the politics and
Right.
the whole declining viewer base for boxing in the United States and all the crap that they've done. I mean, the same day PBC has another pay-per-view on Keith Thurman against Mario Barrios, I think it is. How many people are really going to get worked up for that as a pay-per-view? Keith Thurman's return to the ring.
I'm
it's
dead.
yeah,
I'm dead.
Nope.
No,
In a
I'm
word,
just,
nope.
right. Keith Thurman is not exciting me right now. I mean, it's like, I want to see more women's fights. And like Claressa even said, PBC's not putting on any women. She noticed that. And
Yeah,
we know
so-
why she's not being promoted or picked up here in the United States. Because to me, I'm just going to say it out loud because she's Black, probably. That's the only reason. If she was a white, blonde hair, blue eyed, kick ass Olympian, trust me, she'd have all the sponsorships in the world.
You're exactly right.
So
Exactly.
she's got,
Misogynor is.
exactly,
Did I say that right?
misogynor. Yeah, exactly, misogynor. So, people aren't going to say it out loud, but this is why Terrence Crawford is suing Bob Arum right now. I don't know that he's going to win, but at least he put it out there.
Yeah, he put his
And
line
we
in the sand.
discussed that with Crawford too, because proving a proving it in a court of law is
It's
one
much
thing.
difficult,
Knowing
yeah.
it and saying it is another. That Aram and Top Rank have done an absolutely horrendous job of
Mm.
promoting Terrence Crawford and
Exactly.
other black fighters as well, because as soon as they start to get some notoriety, like Floyd Mayweather, they move on. And
Mhm.
other fighters have moved on, like Mikey Garcia, Oscar De La Hoya, other fighters. They get to a certain level if they promote them anymore.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
and PBC has no excuse since they're supposedly friendly to the black fighters. Why aren't they putting her on? You know, she's from Flint, Michigan. All the stories for the US, they're primarily aimed at the US market. All the stories from Flint, Michigan, and fighters from the Midwest, you could get
Yep.
these quotes from the late Roger Mayweather, pointed out how many or most of the best American boxers have come from the Midwest. And
Kid
with
Andre
the,
Ward, right? You know?
well, Andre's
Oh,
from
I thought it was
California.
from
oh,
Oakland. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Oakland, but I mean, I'm sorry, I meant, yeah, all the Kronk Gym, all those
Right.
folks.
Right.
yeah.
But
They-
Claressa, you know, who wears blue in her hair to support Flint when nobody else does.
Right.
There's just so many stories and within stories,
Right.
levels within levels.
Yep. Well, we hope
So-
the media at some point does a better job. But we know we are over here trying to do our part, support women's boxing and the up and coming athletes who are out putting it out there, trying to make their way. But you guys want to cover anything else before we cut this segment loose?
I think we're good.
All right,
Yeah,
Eddie.
just watch the Crawford lawsuit and see what
Oh, we're gonna keep our eye on that.
develops out of that. That's something that's very significant that's gone on.
That's right. But in the meantime, you guys catch Claressa Shields. She's making her UK debut on February 5th on Fight TV. That's fight.tv. And I'm sure there's other pay-per-view platforms out there, but you guys check that out. In the meantime, we are out. This is a WAAR Room, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.